Hello ladies and gents, and here we are in Qualifier 3. First round we have none other than Quiritz here playing as the Soviets, already getting out his conscripts. Facing off versus Quiritz we have none other than Jibber, Jobber, also known as Peanut apparently, getting out Osttruppen here, already locking in the Osttruppen, or defensive doctrine actually, so not the Osttruppen doctrine. This one comes with, for instance, the Stug E, which famously Jibber has made a very strong build for, where you go Stug E into Stug G, and then you follow up with another Stug E, and then another Stug G, and you get the GE, also known as the GG build. So hopefully that is something we will see here, while both players are grabbing the map here. You can see Quiritz grabbing his southern fuel, or denying his north player's fuel here by staying behind this green cover. Very nice. But the Osttruppen are marching through the center. And Jibber playing very cautiously here. Of course, the Osttruppen does very well versus the conscripts, as long as they are in cover. They trade very fairly, equal, or even somewhat better since they're cheaper if they are in cover. So that's probably why Jibber is looking for these manpower engagements at the start of the game, because he simply, you know, capitalizes on the fact that these manpower trades here actually goes in his favor. Yeah, cut off captured here. Not really cutting anything off, but Quiritz hasn't started capturing the northern field quite yet. As I will fix the game volume so you can hear me slightly better, hopefully. As there is engagements happening all over the place. We also have Grenadiers coming out here for Jibber. As the Pioneers are closing in, but the conscripts switch their focus, focusing down the Pioneers. Meanwhile, Osttruppen in the center here are eventually forced away. But so is Jibber, it seems like. He is taking some very expensive engagements here in the early game, and as Soviets that's really not something you want to be doing, because you want your flamer before these type of engagements happen. But Quiritz hasn't even gotten the munitions enough for a flamer yet. But yeah, the bleed is going very strong here in Jibber's favor, I must say.
The sector is at risk.
Meanwhile, Jibber, battle phase 1 is coming up, will unlock the rifle nades, as well as, you know, letting him tech up further, most likely for a 2-2. We have this one combat engineer doing very well here, trying to hold on to that fuel point that isn't connected, but it at least denies it from his opponent for a bit longer. Quiritz utilizing this actually new stone wall here in the north part of Famaville to help the northern base. Very nice.
The sector has been cut off.
They are dead.
And we do finally have a flamer coming in here for Quiritz. He will need this versus the Osttruppen, because they are just bleeding him so much here. It's not even close to teching, and just has such an issue here getting extra units out. Meanwhile, Jibber here teching up, so 2-2 is coming, and Quiritz knows this. He needs to go into a sysgun or attempt a tier 3 rush here, but tier 3 is 400 manpower alone, and then he's gonna need another 300 to get a vehicle. But yeah, there is the flamethrower pop. As the conscript goes down there by the rifle nade from the Grenadiers. Well played from Jibber. We do have a Dushka now coming out for Quiritz, he also went with Soviets defensive tactics. So we have two defensive doctrines here on Famaville.
Man down!
But yeah, 2-2 is finally in queue. As we have the Osttroopen here using their med packs they get at Vet 1 to get those health bars up. Did he just cancel that? No, he's using the small S-mines, courtesy of this doctrine, of course. They're called the PMD-6, and they work like S-mines, except that you plant them individually. They cost about 7 munitions per, so they're very cost-effective. But I'm not sure how cost-effective they are versus Osttroopen. Quiritz going here for the M42 to stop the 2-2 here. Allows him to stay at tier 0 without teching and still get counters out with this doctrine. So very smart choice there, going with this doctrine when you are struggling in the early game. This Quiritz just attempts to take his fuel back, but Jibber keeping the pressure up here all over the place. And what an interesting layout here of sandbags.
Find some cover, engineers!
250 is sneaking up, about to get his first couple of shots off. Camo is used, trying to get as close as possible to the 2-2, but it bails before that happens. Not to be confused with Christian Bale. And more S-mines, these sneaky little buggers. Gonna just, you know, putting them up, massing them, so they do a lot of damage. One thing I do like to use these with is try to get the retreat path, so say you can plant them on a line like this. And if your opponent retreats from this area, he will go through here, which is usually a dead squad. Because, you know, they're so easier to plant compared to the Austria S-mines, because you actually individually place them, so you just click them out in a line like that.
Engineer standing by.
Under fire! Comrade!
It's the Osttroopen here, trying to remove this conscript. I'm a bit surprised he actually didn't close in here. Would have been way faster. Would maybe mean he'd lost another model, but still think that would be worth it. We see a mortar coming out now for Jibber. Probably to stop the very support weapon heavy build of Quiritz. M42 already in position though. 2-2 eats its initial shot, second shot misses. As the 2-2 reverses to safety and repairs. Oh, another rifle nade. Trying to go for the retreat path there, but Quiritz simply holding his ground here with these heroes of the Rodina, but are eventually forced away here by the flanking grenadier through the house.
A fresh mortar crew has arrived.
Oh. Jibber walking on some of those S-mines. He has a sweeper, but they are very difficult to spot even with the sweeper. Like you see one here, but do you actually see this while you're playing? It's very difficult. Just because I said that, he actually did spot it, but it's very difficult usually to spot these. What is this? A second mortar? What the hell? Very interesting here from Jibber. Oh, another rifle nade. Does Quiritz spot this? Oh! Should still be safe, or is he? Very late retreat there. And a conscript goes down to the mortar. It's already paid off, the GG mortar. 3 kills there. quite damaging for Quiritz, I must say.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
Jibber planting some of his own S-mines here. As the 2-2 is still pretty much uncontested. It only has this 42mm to worry about, but a normal mine there from Mr. Quiritz. Both people, or both players, investing their munitions in the long term. Almost hitting the mine there with the mortars. That's one way to sweep them, of course. Ooh. Nasty shot there from the mortars, forcing the conscripts away. Dushka holding the line, but the Germans are flanking. 2-2 actually drives on the mine. Where is the 42? It's being forced away by the Osttruppen. So unfortunate for Quiritz. He can't capitalize on the fact that Jibber was reckless here, driving over that mine.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
Oh. These mortars are doing really well for Jibber right now, who has to play on the defensive because he's struggling so hard in these engagements, and the mortars are just pummeling poor Quiritz forces here.
We are losing.
I don't want to sound mean or anything, but of course when you're playing at this level you do recognize most of your opponents. And you do recognize their playstyles. And that's something I think Jibber has actually capitalized on here. He knows that Quiritz is a very defensive player. And I think the double mortar may just be to try to crush the dreams early before he gets his super defensive turtle up and going. Very well done from Jibber. We also have a pack gun. Jibber so far ahead here, you know, he thinks the only way he really loses is if Quiritz gets a light vehicle out. So just very safe way to guard the main risk here. Because, you know, status quo, Jibber is doing so well, so the only thing he needs to be careful of is if something, you know, out of the ordinary happens, such as a 13-minute T-70 or a double T-70 even at this point. Oh, 2-2 with some friendly fire there. Not very nice.
Well done. We have forced the enemy down to 200 points. Our opponents are seizing a sector.
Oh, and there we go. There's actually an M5 out. Also getting the quad upgrade here. So yeah, there you go. Counter is already in position. I don't think Quiritz has spotted this. Pack connects. Bit connect. Can I get a second one? This could be GG. No, he misses. So unfortunate there for Jibber. Mortars now both at vet 1, about 5 kills each. Quiritz has finally captured the north. He's going to look to safeguard this and hold until he can get a stronger vehicle out. But he is lacking in the AT department here. He only has the M42mm, and the Panzer IV is in the queue from Jibber. As his gun is going to be needed here eventually.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
As he sweeps for the 2-2 here, very nice. Might also be looking for some of those PMD6 mines.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector. victor.
What is this 42? It's suicidal. It's charging into the Pioneer MP40s that are shooting into the ground for some reason.
Panzer IV is ready for battle.
Jibber has entrenched some himself. This flamer getting very low here. Has to run through 2 grenadiers. Does not get away. Goes down. Conscript's now in trouble. Panzer IV is about to reveal itself as well. And Quiritz is in a peculiar situation here. You know, he's been having the short end of the stick pretty much every turn. As the conscripts are just charging into hell here, dropping models super fast. And Quiritz calls it. Very one-sided game here, but very well played from both players. Taking a look at the stats here, you can really see how one-sided this was, considering Jibber also went with Osttruppen, which generally you don't see this type of KD with Osttruppen, but Jibber managed to pull it off, and I think this was just a very good read from Jibber. You know, he knows his opponent so well, and he really ganged up here on the hard counter with the early double mortar to stop any defensive shenanigans. Yeah, GG, and let's check out the next game. Welcome back. Here we are in game 2, of course, still on Famaville. We just switch around the sides. Of course, Jibber playing as the allies, not picking Soviets, however. He does pick the USF or the Americanas, already massing out his rifles here. And Quiritz this time around playing as the Ost here, but no Osttruppen so far. We do see the Grenadiers starting to get queued here. I actually didn't even bring Osttruppen, which is interesting. So yeah, looking forward to game 2 here. Hopefully Quiritz can just refresh his mind going into this game. Of course, you know, he really struggled in that first game, but he made some very decisive bad decisions at the start of the match, where he kind of, you know, played into Jibber's build there with the Osttruppen. And Jibber being fast with the adaptation there, double mortar versus mass support weapons. We have the first engagement here, rifleman peeking through the house, which of course gives him line of sight. You know, he knows there's no machine gun in this area. Just some recon there. Meanwhile, Quiritz defending his fuel, going to go up and wire that pesky truck. As the machine gun is relocating. Jibber about to hop into this house as well. One very interesting thing about Feynman is the line of sight the garrisons gives you, of course, but they are positioned in a way where you can kind of scout ahead before you advance. Which is something you, as a support weapon player, also has to take in mind, you know. Placing your MG down here means he can't see it from the house. Meanwhile, if the opposite happens, if you place it here, the house will spot it, so you have to play around that both ways. Yeah, suppression here on the rifleman. Pioneer's trying to capitalize, closing in here, dealing some damage, but second rifleman is revealed. Machine gun has pushed around, but the third rifle is in the center, so he has to stay cautious. Setting up in a way where he kind of holds all angles. Meanwhile, in the south, Grenadier seems to be victorious versus the rare echelons. So we have the third Grenadier popping out. Lieutenant coming out for Jibber as we speak, so no captain game so far, but I think, you know, when you're picking USF, you want to go to USF strengths, and USF strengths is definitely the Lieutenant tech tree, because that way you get some of the best light vehicles in the game.
A capture point is under attack.
Yeah, Grenadiers marching forward to the center. No machine gun support, however. The machine gun is busy defending the east. in a very funny looking angle. Yeah, Grenadier's getting very low here, staying just enough that his Pioneers can close in on the Riflemen, forcing them away. Very well played there. Here we are, Lieutenant closing in on the Grenadiers, trying to reach this little part of green cover here. It's going to do a lot of damage though. Pioneers here trying to do some, but the Lieutenant is forced away here. Very interesting, this wire does not seem to wire this area completely. Those Grenadiers had full green cover there. And we do have an M20 in the build here for Jibber. And the Rifle Nade, Quiritz does manage to dodge it somewhat though. One American eats the dust. Second Rifle Nade there. Quiritz pumping the munitions here into these nades, trying to really hold the resources for as long as possible here. Quiritz having double fuel, might just want to be buying time here. And time he buys, he actually forces Jibber's Riflemen away once again there. And this is without the machine gun support, no less. So very, very well played from Quiritz here in these infantry engagements. Going to be a bit harder now that the M20 is out. The Pioneers retreated. Not sure what they were doing over there. Might have just been capturing the VPs, but potentially could see a teller in this area. Of course, all the Rifle Nades might be a clue for Jibber that there's no possibility of a mine happening, but as the MG, it's seen so little combat so far. It's still at vet 0, so it deals no threat to the M20, which can just sit in front of it. Try to bleed Quiritz units back, and here we have the Riflemen flanking. MG forced to reposition. And it looks like a full retreat here for Quiritz from the center. The Germans are running away from the Americans. And we also have a commander pick here, Rifle Company from Jibber, giving him, of course, the sandbags, which you can see on the screen here. That's a huge marker. That's not what I meant to do. But yeah, also comes, of course, with the EC8s, which will, of course, be very valuable if we can reach that stage. As the Jibbers now on the aggression, looking to take back some of Quiritz's resources here. We do have a super late 2-2, I must say. He has 70 fuel in the bank, but keeping the pressure up has cost him a lot of manpower. As the M20 is forced away once again by the M20, as doing so well here. But it's super early timing. We also have some mines coming down from the Riflemen, once again, thanks to the Riflemen defensive structures. Could potentially be a bait here for the 2-2. You know, gang up some Riflemen on the sides, bait with the M20, 2-2 comes forward, eats the mine, and then the Riflemen finish him off with the 18 nades. That is a possibility. Lots of engagements going on here. Quiritz moving up his machine gun. 50 cal is also out, but Rifle Nade is coming in. Eats it, taking a lot of damage there. 2-2. Could potentially hit Jibber's own mine.
Capture point is being overrun.
Doesn't quite manage to finish off the 50 cal here. Forced away by the Lieutenant with the Zook. Ambulance finally coming in for Jibber, being so low health on all of his units. Really could use some welfare here.
Are you serious? Boys, we just got promoted.
And we have a second 2-2 out for Quiritz. What the hell is this? Is he might be thinking there's a steward coming? And with 2-2-2 you can actually beat the steward. So very interesting here. 2-2-2. That's going to be a lot of pressure coming out for Quiritz here. And of course Jibber, going for lieutenant, has no access to 80 guns, but could potentially see a weapon racks upgrade here to get those Zooks out on, for instance, the rare echelon.
Is under attack.
Yeah, that is a mighty concentration of force here in the center. 2-2-2, machine gun, and of course with grenadier support here on the outskirts.
We're losing a capture point.
Quiritz is once again taking the map here. M20's window has disappeared slightly, but it of course can still do some heavy bleeding here. Almost getting in snare range there, but not quite. Grenadier's taking a lot of damage here. Meanwhile, in the north, the second 2-2 keeps the riflemen at bay. We do have a steward now for Jibber. Also, very interestingly here, no sweeper from either player. I mean, Quiritz knows there's an M20. He's also seen the rifleman field defenses, so he should know there's mines potentially. Meanwhile, Jibber, you know, he has 2 light vehicles, but no sweeper versus the tellers. The 50 cal charges into range of the MG42. We also have, of course, the mortar here out for Quiritz now. As the 50 cal is just taking so much heat here. Forced to retreat. Here comes the steward though. He has a lot of heavy lifting to do to come back here.
The enemy is overrunning one of our capture points.
So we have another charge through the center. Steward revealing itself. Still no pack gun in Quiritz composition. But as you can see here, 2-2 trading quite well with the steward. Also have the threat of the grenadiers closing in. Incendiary rounds used from the MG42, forcing that steward away. For some quick repairs, and so as well for the M20. We also have a flamethrower on the RE here, not fearing any mines at all. Quiritz is simply not bleeding, not dropping any models there. Quiritz also on his way here for Battle Phase 2. Hitting some mines there.
The enemy is taking our territory.
Flamer, however, doing a lot of damage here, forcing the Grens away. Very nice. 50 cal repositioning. He's gonna want to take this fuel back. Double fuel once again for Quiritz, as well as the majority of the map. MG42 though, in peril, about to be flanked here. Stewart with the Lieutenant Sue combo here, marching in on the 2-2. No pack gun. It was actually cancelled from Quiritz. Very interesting. Stewart here just charging straight through, but the Grenadiers are there to stop any shenanigans. And finally the MG42 retreats.
The sector has been cut off.
Okay, ready yourself.
90 days ready. All in.
The enemy is fighting back.
What's that gunner thinking? Kill those stupid bastards!
Very nice from me. Jibber here, baiting out the mortar barrage as well. Very nice.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
I mean, I think Quiritz is quite happy here with this initial 13 minutes. Panzer IV about to be available, and is still holding on to the majority of the map, it seems like. Oh, huge shot there from the Stuart. Grenadiers actually in trouble here. And Panzer IV now in queue. Saw a rifleman dodge there. Meanwhile in the north, rifleman holding the line here versus the Grenadiers. So many mines out for Jibber. He's not been able to get any weapon racks here. M20 almost gets in snaring range, but just keeps kiting the Grenadiers, bleeding as much as possible here. Very nice play. MG42 reloading, trying to dislodge this rare echelon, holding on behind the sandbags in the north. Stuart brawling with the 2-2 again. No Grenadiers close by to stop this though, but we do have the Panzer IV coming in. Stuart's now in big trouble here, has to run away, hides behind the safety of the Lieutenant Zooks. In the south, rifleman retreated, forced away by the second 2-2 there. So much going on, both players playing out of their minds right now. Captain is out for Jibber, realizing he's behind, already had the counter going. M180 gun coming out to stop the Panzer IV. 50 cal now in trouble though, forced retreat, incendiary rounds. 50 cal takes a lot of damage, not enough to actually decrew the vehicle or the support weapon. As the Panzer IV drives on the mine, but 80 gun is going to come out of the base so far away. Stuart, no way to really stop this, is there? Panzer IV misses. You see vision block coming in. Might be enough here. Rifle nade or 80 nade coming in on the Panzer IV as well. Needs about 3 more penetrations from the Stuart, but the Grenadier is there to stop any shenanigans. 2-2s as well. 2-2 now in trouble, but the rifle nade is still on cooldown. 2 seconds remaining. 1 second remaining, but the 2-2 is out of there. Panzer IV still taking out damage. Faust coming in on the Stuart. Well played from Quiritz there, salvaging that situation. A lot of things could have gone wrong.
The enemy is overrunning one of our capture points.
For chat asking about immobilization, that was not the M20 mine, it was a rifleman mine from the field defenses. Oh, 2-2 goes down to what? 80 gun, and apparently the 50 cal was enough to finish that 2-2. Of course, the advantage of having 2 2-2s is that if one dies, you still have another. Yeah, 50 cal. Repositioning here to deal with the Pioneer, but Grenadiers coming in on the flank. We have a sniper now coming out from Quiritz. Really looking to bleed Jibber here, maybe as retaliation for that first match. Yeah, sniper is here, and of course with the vision from this house, he spots all of Jibber's position in the center. Panzer IV might go in, he needs 2 more shots to decrew the M1. MG42 here, defending the flank, all of the riflemen get suppressed, forced away there. That's very painful for Jibber. Buying Quiritz even more time with the map. Oh, M1 somehow gets a shot in there. Didn't look like that was in the cone, but M1 80 gun from USF actually has the widest cone out of all the 80 guns, while also having the best fire rate. So never underrate this 80 gun. Of course, also has the longest range with VET with the take aim ability, which can really take a lot of players by surprise.
We're losing a capture point. Kill that MG-42.
But yeah, Major is now in queue for Jibber. He needs about 30 more fuel to field one of the EC8s.
The enemy is overrunning one of our
Meanwhile,
capture points.
second Panzer IV coming up for Quiritz, as he has really fortified pretty much the entirety of the map here. Look at that line, boys. Very tough nut to crack here for Jibber. Sniping up to 3 kills. As the M1 once again connects with the Panzer IV.
The enemy is taking our territory.
Seems Jibber might have found an opening here. Where is the machine gun? Rifleman coming in, might see a snare here. We see the sprint. Where's the... there you go, snare, but the Panzer IV managed to charge away. And here comes the second one. Jibber might have overextended himself here. Grenadiers and 222 on the retreat.
Attempting to steal our sector.
And all of Jibber's forces are forced away here. Captain taking a lot of heat. 222 takes a blow from the M1. Meanwhile, P4 finds the M20, slightly misses however, but still deals some splatter damage there to the M20. Meanwhile, Quiritz keeps marching into the mines here of Jibber.
The enemy still has 300 points.
Sweepers, of course, busy repairing. Sniper in the witch's hut. Oh.
The enemy is taking our territory.
Stewart here trying to force this MG42 away. There we go, finally connects a shot. Well placed there. Of course, also kind of baiting here for the M180 gun. Not sure if Quiritz has spotted that. There we go, EC8 is now in the queue for Jibber, which is going, or should be faring quite well versus Quiritz Panzer IV force. Of course, doesn't really need to worry about 80 guns either, because there ain't none. But Quiritz is slowly approaching that third Panzer IV. So the EC8 is going to be quite outmatched here. Hopefully Jibber has acquired Brad Pitt to pilot this thing. Oh, Sniper almost eats the dust there with EC8's first shot. Oh, is he standing on a mine? Mortar could. Woo. Mine right there. If that mortar hits that mine, could have snared Jibber's EC8.
New anti-tank gun has arrived. Fire!
Oh, Teller dodged by Jibber. How? 222 goes down, but the Stewart goes down trying to get back out of there. But very unfortunate actually for Quiritz with the master bait. But Stewart missing the Teller on approach, but at least he gets the trade. But could have definitely been the opposite with the 222 surviving.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
Pack is now out for Quiritz. No third Panzer IV yet. Sniper up to 6 kills. Not been as effective as you want it to be so far, but of course this will pile on over the course of the game. Meanwhile, Quiritz here just has a very strong position. Very difficult for Jibber to break through here.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
What are we waiting for right now, Mr. Jibber? The ball is in your courtyard. Weapon racks coming up. He has 220 munitions to spend. We'll see if he's opting for bars on everything or if there's some souks here. So we also have another teller here from Mr. Quiritz in a similar position. Oh! Rare Echelon almost eats the dust there in the ruins of that house. Another teller here from Mr. Quiritz, and of course no sweeper from Jibber, opting for the flamethrower, which might bite him in the ass here.
The enemy is taking our territory.
Pack connecting twice with the EC8 there, forcing him away. We also have a second pack. Quiritz doesn't want any more vehicles. Very interesting. This is very, very rare, I must say. And I think this is what I mean when I say his play is very defensive. Most players would not go 2 packs with this advantage. But you could also say it's safe, you know. This is a tournament and they don't want to risk. Sniper there takes another shot from the EC8, but manages to get away. His rifle, or Jibber's forces once again marches into the machine gun here, now at vet 3.
Well done. We have forced the enemy down to 200 points.
We also have the German mechanized doctrine here picked for Quiritz, which gives him the spotting scopes, which is already equipped here.
Sector.
What a turtle this is becoming. Quiritz here just holding on so strong. He got everything he wants. No reason to risk a base inspection when you're holding all of the map. But it looks like Jibber might have found an opening here. 50 cal suppressing the Grenadiers. P4 going in for some crush here, actually forcing Jibber's flanking squads away. Meaning MG can stay here, suppressing the rifleman, who can't close in. Jibber obviously hoping to flank the machine gun here, which could open up the center for his rifleman. It's simply not happening here. And it's Quiritz is holding firm. As the 50 cal here drops a lot of models, hits the mine there with a stray shot. Quite unfortunate for Jibber. And the machine gun gets completely wiped. Even the gun gets destroyed there. That's another loss. And what another huge shot from the Panzer IV. Dealing so much damage here. And this position in the center is so strong here. And it seems Jibber can't force him to budge. Throwing everything at him, but it's not working, and the EC8 drives on a teller, wiping it. Major blow for Jibber. Quiritz is not gonna end this game. He's happy. He has everything. Why risk it? Very interesting here from both players.
That's it. Fully reinforced.
He is fully pop-capped. He has the map. He has the resources to replenish any losses. But this is his endgame composition. Just one tough nut. Together with the spotting from the Panzer Force. As Jibber here attempts one final charge to break Quiritz fortress. We see the white phosphorus smoke barrage coming in. M20 goes down to the pack gun. All of Jibber's forces charging through here. Panzer 4, there's a teller here, could potentially backfire here for Jibber, but his infantry is taking so much damage. Infantry stun round being used here. Rifleman almost dead. MG here still suppressing, even though it's down at minus 1000 HP. And Jibber, after that last attempt to stop the turtle, throws in the towel. But GG, well played, and what a game! Just amazing position, and I must give it to Quiritz. It's rare that you see new competitive compositions after all these years in Code 2. But this is something that I've not seen as competitive before. But if you play so well, such as Jibber or Quiritz here, where you know, you just sit back, relax, and take the engagements that you need and just hold firm. Very strong here. But yeah, GG, well played, and let's check out the stats here before heading into the ace game, of course, 1-1. But you can just see here how dominant. It's exactly the reverse of the first game here. But yeah, GG, well played. And we are back on Crossroads for the ace game between these two giants. Quiritz here coming back in game 2 here with the Osttruppen, or with the Osttier faction. This time around playing as the allies, facing off versus, of course, Jibber here. Once again playing as Osttier, picking up Osttruppen, or the defensive doctrine, but they come with the Osttruppen. We might see a complete replay of game 1, but hopefully Quiritz here will have learned from his mistakes.
A new unit has arrived.
As they are slowly fielding here, getting ready to swarm the map. Aggressive capping here from Quiritz, might be looking to bundle them up behind this tractor. No. Goes back, just slow capping the map here, taking the standard point for some very fast resource. Might be looking to get that flamer before the decisive engagements this time around, compared to game 1. As the conscripts are marching up the center of the map. We do have the first couple of engagements here. Osttruppen taking a bit more damage than the conscript, standing in green, but we have a flanking one here coming around, as well as the pioneer standing close to this hedgerow to just close in and come in from the side here. Already closing the distance. Very nice there from Jibber. As the conscript here has to change their fire to the closest unit. Osttruppen here closing in on them.
The new grenadier squad is ready.
So we have very nice engagements here. Looks like Osttruppen are defending their Grandma's shed pretty much. And it seems Osttruppen come out victorious once again. So hard for the Soviets here to take these engagements without the flamer. which is however queuing, which will change the direction of these battles. Seems Quiritz has learned from his mistake. There is the flamer pop. Jibber just has to pull away here. Can't take these engagements. They suddenly become way worse for him with the appearance of the flamer. Might even be forced back to base here. He can't take the engagements any longer. So yeah, well played from Quiritz there, holding on until he gets the flamer, and then you march in with the flamer. And of course Jibber here, realizing the fact, actually pulls away without staying here, taking unnecessary damage in very poor engagements. So very nice play here from both players.
The enemy is taking our territory.
As the Germans continuously here soft retreating. Don't want to give up too much map to force retreat, but don't want to take these very poor engagements either. Just try to remain on the field without losing the map. And make Quiritz pay here for every single step into the fatherland.
Access to superior arms and soldiers.
Battle phase 1 now up for Jibber, going a very familiar build if you guys watched game 1. 3 Osttruppen into 2 Grenadiers, no machine gun. Will most likely be followed up here by the 2-2. Meanwhile, Quiritz here taking up fast this time around, does not want to get stuck in that support weapon Tresk that he ended up playing that first match. So both players here trying to avoid the mistakes of that first match. But here we have one decisive engagement, a lot of damage is being dealt from both players here, but the flamer just doing so much pain. You can also see the merge here, keeping the flamer on the field. Can't merge again though. Quiritz forced away, but look at these health bars of Jibber's units. 3 versus 2, and you're still taking this much damage. Forced to use munitions here to heal up, using that Vet 1 ability, the medkits, or first field aid. Getting those Grenadiers back up to speed here.
Pioneers can now place tank traps.
Yeah, tier 2 is up for Jibber, so 2-2 is already in the queue actually. Meanwhile, no tier 3 from Quiritz. But might see a Sysgun coming up soon. As once again, engagements happening all across the map here. Pioneers trying to force away here. Oh, Osttruppen walks on a mine. Well, also defending the far west here. 2-2 appears. Seems to be beelining for the center, where there's a massive advance coming in from Quiritz. Conscripts and combat engineers with flamethrowers, of course. Still no 80 tank snare tech from Quiritz. Might be seeing that soon. A rifle aid coming in though. Very close on these conscripts. Quiritz is taking a lot of damage here. No AT fielded except for this Sysgun that just appeared out of thin air essentially. And surely that must be in line of sight of Jibber. It actually isn't. It blocks, so he wouldn't have seen the mine being planted. We have a second 2-2. Is Jibber adapting here? Is he evolving? He's learning from his opponent. Double 2-2 is the play. Quiritz here back in the west. Siskan marching up as well. 2-2, just going straight for his conscripts, but still no conscript package upgraded. It's coming up now, however. Will 2-2 get out of there? Needs to get across this corner. Yes, indeed, gets away. What a run there from the 2-2. That's the second 2-2. Seems just to be attack grounding here for some mines.
Losing a sector.
There you go, Molotov thrown, so Jibber is now aware, as well as we, that the 80 anti-tank package is now available for Quiritz. So he won't be making any more of those 2-2 maneuvers. Meanwhile, Quiritz does have tier 3, so any light vehicle is optional here. It does have the fuel for T-70, but not quite enough for the manpower. We have another Molotov used here, really forcing those Ostruppen away. Sneaky 2-2 could potentially be a flank around here. It seems Quiritz heard something in the fog of war, actually turning around like that. We have an attack round here connecting through the hedgerow. That 2-2 is forced away. Only one pioneer on the field for Jibber, so he needs to get back and repair that. And there we go, a mortar is coming out. No AT, however, and that T-70 is coming. Might be a very bad read here from Jibber, as the Ostruppen take a lot of damage from the flamethrower.
Sturmgeschütz version E is ready to deploy.
Oh, mortar actually cancelled for the pack here. Most likely because the T-70 just was revealed here. As the Ostruppen eventually will be forced away. Meanwhile in the east, Jibber making some progress here, forcing the conscripts away. There's mines and the flares being planted all over the place though from Quiritz. Basically scorched earth here, you know, it's just every step hurts so much for Jibber. This Ostruppen might actually go down here. T-70 connecting one more shot. Can he go down to the conscript? Manages to get away. Meanwhile now Siskan might actually be overextended here. Grenadiers and Ostruppen flanking. Huge shot there from the T-70 now, going to force that Grenadier away. Don't want to take another one of those to your face.
Our territory.
Oh, pack opens up but misses the T-70. There you go, there is the mortar.
We are losing territory.
As we have both players trading blows with each other all across the map, trying to catch all of the action here. Conscript though getting very low in the north here. Not much defending a retreat path except for this mine. Jibber not looking to capitalize on that though. T-70 however looking to punish this overextended Ostruppen, but does eat a snare for its troubles.
Supply sector under attack.
As the 2-2s here just bleeding. Siskan looking for an angle though, opens up, gets one, hits the 2-2 and pack seemingly returning fire for some reason. Or he might just be removing the stone wall actually. But yeah, Germans on the offensive once again in the east here. Walks on a flare though, so Quiritz already warned of their presence. Attack running through the hedgerow here. Very well played here. You might think defensive players has bad micro. Doesn't seem like that. Look at these Grenadiers just taking a pummeling there simply because the Osttruppen walked on a flare. Very well played from Quiritz. Meanwhile, we have an Aura coming in here looking for the snare 2-2. Jibber not reacting. Siskan here cloaked in the center. Pack misses the snare T70. Not quite enough to end the lifespan of the 2-2, however. So we have a Soviet mortar out for Quiritz as well. We also have a commander lock in here. Soviet Combined Arms Army. Okay, interesting. I like that. Very exciting. Not the guard motor for once. Okay.
The enemy has taken our supply sector.
Yeah, very dangerous engagements here. Conscript now has to retreat through a Hellfire. Nice attempt there with the rifle nade on retreat, but slightly misjudged. Needs to be careful though. If he drops one model here and then retreats through this mine, could be the end of this Grenadier. Oh, he hard retreats, he doesn't soft retreat, so Grenadiers will most likely be saved by that. Or are they? Pack trying to save the Grenadiers though. T70 thinks better and pulls back. And then returns as the pack was forced away. He knows its position. Kind of like Facebook. Or Google for that matters. One of those GPS trackers.
We are losing a sector.
Combat engineer here, forced away by the 2-2. That does dodge a shell from the pack.
Enemy forces are capturing our supplies.
And we have a Panzer IV in queue now for Jibber. Meanwhile, no vehicle so far from Quiritz, lacking a bunch of resources actually. Not had as strong of an early game as Jibber, and of course going T70 means you will delay your medium tank quite a bit.
Are standing by.
But it does have the guards, so that's some extra AT as well. Immediately also upgrading them with the DP light machine guns. Very nice there. Having enough munitions exactly to do that. As the 2-2 keeps firing. I feel like that's been constantly firing here from the start of the game. Yeah, Panzer IV is now out. We'll see how Quiritz reacts to this. He might not even take up here. He might actually just go for a second Siskan. But no, I can already clarify. Taking up is what's happening. 2-2, however. Jibber's micro slipping up here. Siskan ends the lifespan of that one. As the Panzer IV is looking for the T7. He knows where the Siskan is. Could just dive straight for the kill here. Needs one more shot. Doesn't get it. As the Grenadiers almost meet their demise in the garrison. Siskan now has repositioned in position here, also using the camo before firing, which is supposed to increase the accuracy. But apparently not in this case, since it missed. Yeah, it's just code 2 sometimes, you know. Very nice input there from Quiritz. Clicking ambush before fire, but still not getting rewarded. So very unfortunate for Quiritz, but that's the game sometimes, and you just gotta cope. As Jibber's armored battalion here forces the mortar back to base. Siskan trying to get a blow through the hedge here, but not quite connecting. Ending up killing a squirrel instead of a Panzer IV.
Enemy forces are capturing our supplies.
Osttruppen here immediately dropping a model of the guards here. Doing very well behind green, but as green can be. T70 Manages to find a flank here, doing a lot of damage here from the side. As Jibber is attack rounding here. Almost hits the squad. Meanwhile, Jibber quite happy, I think, with this early game. He's had a very dominant position. He also hits medium vehicle first. Only loss so far has been the 2-2, but I think that's negligible because he has 2 of them.
Our foes have 300 points remaining. Increase your efforts.
There you go, a T-34 is coming up now for Quiritz.
The enemy is taking our territory.
We also have a trench in the center. Meanwhile, 2nd Panzer IV coming out for Jibber, so 2 Panzer IV in a pack versus the T-34. As these Austrooping get very low, can the conscript finish them off? No. T-7 needs a shot from the pack.
We have a new Panzer IV.
Yeah, this T-34 is quite outgunned and outmatched here. Quiritz needs to get that 2nd 80 gun up. I do have to say, I feel like this mortar might have been a mistake. The mortar from Jibber I think is fine, because he was so far ahead, but... Quiritz really needs some 80 now. Jibber's just poking shots here all over the place of Quiritz. Most likely us trying to find where the AT is, and there's only one sys gun, so if Quiritz finds himself out of position with this sys gun, Jibber might be very fast to close the gap, but as we know, Quiritz, he has that 2nd 80 gun now, so he has the 80 he needs, but he might have overextended himself here. Panzer IV getting shots through the hedgerow, sys gun returning the favor. 2nd Panzer IV not looking to capitalize on this, however. Jibber here does not want to gamble. He's looking for that perfect opportunity where there's no question about who will win.
Artillery positions are ready to fire. We are losing a sector.
I do wonder here what is going through Quiritz's mind right now. Oh, is this a bait? T7, it takes 1 hit, takes 2. Panzer IV hits 1. Could be a trade here. T7 goes down. Panzer IV does survive though. T34 looking for that follow-up, but Panzer IV is already back to the safety of his base.
The enemy is attempting to
That's a
steal
nice
our sector.
pickup from Jibber there. Getting rid of that scout tool, of course. Quiritz does have access to the flares with the mortar, but that's not as constant as the T7.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
This trench looking so strong here for Jibber. What a shot from the T-34. Snare coming in, however, pack in position. Snare on the T-34. Where are the Panzer IVs here? T-34 is sitting duck in the middle of nowhere. Sys gun connects once with the 2-2, but no angle to get the killing blow. Seems T-34 will get out of there without any major losses, as these poor Austrooping here are burning from the flamethrower. Jibber not reacting. Not any other burst though. Not quite in range for the killing burst, I believe. As the house now gets very low, even shooting at it with the pack, trying to demolish that, which would bury the engineer inside.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
And now the combat engineers take the trench, but there we go, trading blows. Of course, Pack now, Vet 1 does get the stun round in, but no further follow-up shot. Second Panzer 4 still getting repaired, only one sweeper and repair unit for Jibber. He's really struggling keeping his vehicle at full strength.
We are losing a sector.
Of course, this trench might actually backfire quite a bit here. Jibber doesn't have access to that flamethrower that Quiritz has, so he can't actually force this unit away, and he has to destroy it himself. Oh, huge shot there from the T-34 conscript. Is going to end this poor Austruppen squad's life there. Even drops the LMG, but already 7-man upgrade, so he cannot pick that up with that unit. Could pick it up with the guards though, or the combat engineers. Both players playing really well right now, I must say. Third Panzer 4 coming out for Jibber, not doing a Quiritz and going for a second 80 gun. Might be looking to end this game a bit faster than Quiritz did last time. Yeah, the march of the Grenadiers here. The support weapons are just dropping models. Oh, mortar eats a rifle there. Not completely wiped, however. As the 7-man conscripts now just moving forward, destroying the Germans.
Panzer IV is ready for battle.
Oh, is this an attack run attempt perhaps? No. Full follow-up, 80 gun gets decrewed from Jibber. Conscript might eat the dust in return though. Grenadier does make it out of there alive. Katusha coming in.
Enemy forces
Max range. Gets a couple shells on the mortar here. Conscript did go down. Meanwhile, T-34 forced away by the Panzer 4. Pioneer now looking to recap. Very risky recapture actually. If he lost a model there, he would lose his only repair unit. But yeah, Panzer 4 is now almost at full strength here. Could look for a full-on flanking maneuver here from Jibber. Needs to find these 80 guns though, those are his main threat here. This looks like to me like Quiritz is just completely surrounded essentially. Needs to be very careful here. As the heroic guards valiantly tries to hold the center. And Quiritz realizes he does not want to be in a similar position again. He's going to get some mines down here protecting that flank. Oh, I didn't even realize this. Jibber had a repair bunker all along. No wonder he only has one pioneer. Interesting. As we do have recon here from Quiritz, which will give him information for the Katusha. Mortar in trouble.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
Oh, is this a base inspection? Might be. The 80 guns are way out of position. Meanwhile, we also of course have the other Panzer IV on the other side. Yeah, this Panzer IV is taking quite a lot of damage here from the Sysgun, missing that last blow though. I don't think that would have been enough to kill it. Pretty sure it needed a couple more hits. Yeah, another T-44 now coming out for Quiritz. Meanwhile, these Sysguns are doing such a nice job here. Very nice positioning from Quiritz and very hard for Jibber, you know. He's using the camouflage, so even if Jibber has the 2-2, doesn't actually see the Sysguns.
Frontier building has been lost.
Wait, what? Not sure what happened there. Frontier building has been lost? Oh, he just cancelled. He was building a second repair bunker and then he probably cancelled it. Interesting. Are these pop capped? I'm not actually sure if these cost pop cap. But yeah, second repair bunker. Meanwhile here, Quiritz mining his base. They are not pop capped. Interesting. So this is like an uber late game build from Jibber, where he can just repair his stuff without actually using his pioneers.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
But yeah, Quiritz looking quite strong in the center. Meanwhile, Katusha here.
Our lines of supply are
Oh, not the spread he's looking for. But what am I saying? Takes out the pack gun there. What an incredible rocket that was. That's a very long range, and I don't think he has line of sight here either. Oh, Panzer IV takes a lot of hits there from the Sysgun and the T-34, both penetrating. Pack gun, of course, not picked up, so doesn't have a threat from Jibber. Meanwhile, we have a complete mirror in the player's positioning here. Quiritz looking to punish the east, while Jibber is looking to punish the west. And in the center we just have this scramble going on. Huge shot there from the Panzer IV. Guards forced to retreat. Quiritz manages to remove that pack from space and time. Meanwhile, Panzer IV here flanking. T-34 couldn't be in trouble. Sysgun looking the wrong direction here if these opt to go in, but there's also the second Sysgun. As the Panzer IV is just trade blows and go back to repair. Very dynamic game, even though it's... Some might say this is static, I'd say it's very dynamic. Both players are just trying to find the holes here. Very interesting mirror here, where if you overextend, you get forced with a very bad retreat path. So have to be very cautious here with how you play this. Seems Jibber might be looking for an attack from the east now, but recon plane is in the air for Quiritz. He will spot any of those shenanigans. We have a fourth Panzer IV coming in, also has the sector artillery available. As the Katusha fires on the mortar once again, Quiritz really hates this mortar. No hard retreats from Jibber might cost him the unit. Also retreating through the barraging hellfire. Oh god.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
Rifling here on Quiritz's mortar. Not enough to wipe the unit though. Meanwhile, this Grenadiers, what is Jibber doing? He is busy microing his Panzer IV. We have a charge coming through center. Smoke on the 80 gun. T-34 goes down for Quiritz. What a play from Jibber. 80 gun attack running through the center. Or through the smoke rather, but Meanwhile, 4th Panzer IV is coming in as well. While the Panzer IVs are putting the herd on. Oh! Combat Engineer goes down there, flamethrower drop. No wait, that's the LMG. That Combat Engineer had an LMG? Interesting. Double LMG Grenadiers now. What was that? The mortar goes down to the attacker on Panzer IV. Meanwhile, Siskan here, Panzer IV in trouble, needs to get the hell out of there. Attack rounds misses. We have another recon flight. Does that mean, yeah, Katusha almost ready to fire once again? But I mean, there isn't really much you can fire on. There's this mortar, but there's no reason to fire at this, because the concrete bunkers don't really take damage from the rockets, and these guys just get replenished for free. But it is targeted on the Ostrup, and they're in the center.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
Oh, Panzer IVs going down to killing threshold here. We have a 5th Panzer IV. I mean, Jibber has the pop cap, you know, he's got no infantry, no support weapons, barely any repairs except for the repair bunkers. We could be looking at an entire Panzer IV build. I think what Jibber needs to do is he needs to stop repairing with this unit. He has 2 repair bunkers, use these. And then this Pioneer should actually come with the Panzer IVs so he can sweep the area. I think that's what he needs to be looking for. He needs to start removing those mines before he makes the grand push. But because if he makes the grand push, he could be so punished by the mines here. And we know Quiritz has been planting a lot. Meanwhile, we can also see that these guards have been merged by conscripts, which does save him some manpower. So nice use there from Quiritz, even in the late game in these super hectic, micro-intensive matches. He still manages to play optimally and merging his guards there. And I mean, Quiritz is just bleeding. There's so many Panzer IVs. How do you take engagements here? There isn't a Panzer IV for every leaf on the map. Katusha firing on the center. Ostrupen in trouble. 1 rocket there in the dead center of the unit. Yeah, recon is up, and surely Quiritz must realize what he's facing here. It's a mass Panzer IV build. Panzer IV actually in trouble here. Needs 2 more shots. Jibber just realizing. Goes down though. Siskan's connecting 4 rounds in a row there.
Our panzers has been destroyed.
Of course, vet-free Siskan on one of them. The other is merely getting started. But Jibber here is already replenishing the lost Panzer IV. Would have been the 6th one if it kept the other one alive.
Attempting to steal our sector.
Siskan's now very far up, I must say. Smoke coming down, blocking the line of sight as well. And here we go. This might be what Jibber is looking for. But he's not going in. He's then sitting duck here, just taking all the damage. What is Jibber doing? This could cost him the game. He now needs to pull back. That would have been an amazing opportunity there. Meanwhile, a third Sysgun for Quiritz. 3 Sysguns versus 5 Panzer IVs. What a shot there from the Panzer IV! Quiritz just bleeding. What is the combat engineer taking a lot of damage? Quiritz not yet reacting. Might be getting sloppy here. Katusha coming in. Eating all of the infantry, forcing away here. Now the volley! Ah! T-34's not following up there, playing cautiously. He doesn't want to go. What's this? 4 Sysguns for Quiritz. Well, where there is a will, there's apparently also a Sysgun, because we now have 4 Sysguns. That's incredible. I mean, he's basically matched the Panzer IVs here.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
This is so intriguing, you know. I would say an SU-85 would be a decent pick here, but it might actually be more risky to go an SU-85. Somehow. I'm not gonna continue that thought. Because thinking further is not what we do around here. Here we build the same unit over and over. Yeah, the Sysguns have spread out. He's trying to cover every single angle. It's like a badger, you know. It's got those thorns sticking out towards all angles. It's like a, what's it called, a blowfish, you know? It's got all of these Sysguns. No matter where Jibber will probe, he will meet 80 gun fire as the plane cinematically crashes down next to the Katusha, which is base barraging. Oh, sorry. I sped it up there for a second, I misclicked. Yeah, mortar there goes down. Honestly, I'm not sure if Jibber even wants to... I mean, he might want the smoke, right? But that mortar actually gives him enough pop cap for a 6th Panzer IV, which might be more desirable. And 40 minutes and there's still a total of 400 VPs remaining. What is that? Is that a Pack 43? Surely Jibber's just trolling. It doesn't even have that many targets. There's only 2 T-34s on the field.
Securing our territory.
It is a Pack 43. We are, ladies and gentlemen, in a Master League qualifier. And there is a Pack 43 being built. Oh! Sysgun number 4 does actually get decrewed here and will be removed by these Panzer IVs. Meanwhile, another Panzer IV in big trouble here, being buttoned by the guards. Goes down to the Sysguns. Jibber a bit poor with reacting here with the other Panzer IVs. Could surely have helped that thing. What is this? We see sector artillery being used from Jibber here. Trying to just protect these pioneers, I'm guessing, to get the Pack 43 up. There's Katusha firing on the mortar again. Or actually straight up on the base. Might be looking for that annihilation victory at this point. And this Panzer IV just going into this dead zone again. And what is he looking at? Is there something over here? An army of T-34s might be entering that part of the map.
Pioneers ready for anything. Airstrike!
Yes, we do have an airplane. And we are now fighting on the moon. As the Sysguns finds the Panzer IV. Oh no! Jibber! Blitzes away out of there. Grenadiers forced away by the T-34. Meanwhile, Panzer IV looking for a flank here. This Sysgun way out of position, needs to get the hell out of there. Conscript's taking some heavy blows. This is the opening Jibber is looking for potentially. Conscript goes down there. One conscript remaining. Meanwhile, Panzer IV might go down in return. The T-34 goes down. What the hell killed that? I didn't even spot the Pack 43. Takes up its first kill in the center. As two new Panzer IV emerges. Meanwhile, T-34 on the right side could potentially get snared here. Pack 43 needs to relocate. Snare going in too fast. Does not get the engine critical. Panzer IV looking for that rare armor though. Blocking, simultaneously blocking the T-34. Can't get out of there now. You are stuck in this. To death. Last tank standing. Meanwhile, the other T-34 is looking here for the trade. Sysgun did connect once. Might be enough to kill this Panzer IV. Very close.
Points remaining.
As Panzer IV is to dust, but meanwhile, all of Jibber's tanks hits a mine. Sysguns repositioning to hold the flank. Grens does get the engine critical on that T-34, but the Panzer IVs can't quite get there. There's so many Sysguns, even a tech running through the ruins here. As the Katusha opens fire once again on the base, Grenadier very low there, manages to dodge the barrage. But the Panzer IV is looking for blood. T-34 does connect one passing blow, it seems, might get a second one. Panzer IV bounces. The Sysguns all in one volley takes out the Panzer IV. T-34 emerges victorious. Only two Panzer IVs now standing tall for Jibber. Meanwhile, a new T-34 is coming out for Quiritz, and it's of course supported by the 3v3 Sysguns. And we also have another Panzer IV coming out for Jibber. As the mortar is still taking up blows. It's been decrewed so many times, but it's already Vet 2 again. As Jibber finally manages to capture the center, it looks like. It might be Jibber looking for a base inspection here, but he's not bringing his sweeper. Immediately drives on a mine here, which forces him back. As the Vet 3 Sysgun, the fire rate is just insane, and the accuracy and the penetration. Jibber here sweeping the mines with the Truppen. As a fresh conscript emerges from the manpower factories of the Soviet Union. To even it's a blow. Ooh, almost gets the killing blow there. Nice attempt there from Quiritz. Panzer IV glancing off the armor of the T-34. I mean, look at the amount of mines here. Quiritz has really dug himself in here. How many mines does Jibber need to walk on? You need to move around your pioneer. You need to sweep the outskirts of the map. Another recon here coming in from Quiritz. Giving him some much needed vision here for the sys guns.
Enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
Oh, and a teller here. T-34 drives on it. Pack 43 tries to get an angle here. I think that's slightly outside of range now. Panzer 4 goes down here from the sys guns.
One of our panzers has been destroyed.
It seems Jibber ate the bait of his own teller. As the Katusha fires once again on this mortar.
Our base is under attack.
Heel bunker actually about to go down from all the rocket fire. And there we go, we also have a scuttle actually being used in a competitive game for the qualifier. That's the first time I've seen this ability used. Nonetheless, the unit in a competitive setting.
Is taking our
What is going on? And what is this from Quiritz? A fourth sys gun. I think that's the fifth one of this game, potentially the sixth sys gun from Quiritz.
The enemy is attempting to steal our
The
sector.
amount of 6-man support weapons.
We have a forward structure under
They're
attack.
basically sisters at this point. What was that? T-34 takes out the mortar from outside the base. You can shoot through this? I thought that was fixed a long time ago. But apparently not. And look at this sys guns here. Baiting in the Panzer IVs. Which might bite. Quiritz here with a genius army composition. And Jibber simply can't retaliate. The sys guns just take him out over and over.
The enemy has destroyed a panzer. You need something?
Jibber now down to 48 pop cap. As we see another recon revealing how weak Jibber now is. Katusha ready to fire.
Opponents are seizing a sector.
Looking for the repairman. Pioneers, Jibber not paying attention. Oh no! One man makes it out alive to tell the tale. As the 7-man cons now reign supreme over the poor Osttruppen.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
And we have new grenadiers being built. Jibber here,
Is ready.
realizing he can't really fight
Our lines of supply are disrupted.
the sys guns with armor. As another Panzer IV almost hits the dust right there. Back to repair bunkers. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say Jibber just needs to rethink his strategies. He still has some time I would say Panzer Grenadiers would not be a bad call here. You get the Shrek Panzer Grenadiers, they can bundle the Sis guns, there's no machine guns, so you should have no trouble closing in. That's one way to adapt, but Jibber might be too tunnel vision here. We see 2 Grenadiers being built.
Fresh Grenadier squad.
He needs something to take out the Sis guns with. I'm not sure if Grenadiers is the call though. As they eat another Katusha barrage, leaving the base here. Back into the Katusha fire!
We have 100 points.
Oh, the disaster! As there is another T-34 getting its final treads constructed in the factory. And Quiritz here just being content with the current situation. Having a deadlock now on the center. As the Grenadier walks into mine, T-34 might be enough to finish this off if he can get a good blow here. No, Jibber, you can't use your Panzer Force here.
The enemy has driven a wedge in our lines.
As Jibber just traded 50 munitions and
Enemy forces are secure.
200 manpower, no 100 manpower for this snare, but Panzer IV simply glancing off the side armor. We do have a flank here on this Siskan though by the Grenadiers. So hard to kill him. We see a short range Katusha barrage. Grenadiers trying to get out of there, dodges it, but the Siskan does make it out alive. The 6-man crews are too much for these Grenadiers. As another Panzer IV creeps up, but immediately gets greeted by a Siskan shell. 70 VPs now remaining for Jibber. Barely any time left to adapt. All he has is his Panzer Force and his vanilla Grens and the Osttruppen. He doesn't even have his healing bunker anymore. It's gone from long by the rocket artillery. Oh, 2-2 immediately actually shot down that airplane. That was quite impressive. The Grants here snaring, but Panzer IV misses the blow. Not enough to get the engine. Meanwhile, this Siskan has just been AFK the past 5 minutes. And it's still been dealing so much damage. Jibber can't really remove this without support weapons. This center right here, it's too fortified. And the Panzer IVs, same angle, same Siskan. Meanwhile, Quiritz, more mines going down. Katusha fires again. Oh no! Slightly. Oh no!
15 points remaining.
Now he needs to wait for the med kits again so he can heal his units. 20 seconds cooldown. Meanwhile, 45 VPs. It's like 1945.
The enemy has destroyed one of our forward installations. Panzer IV ready.
Jibber finally here actually moving his sweeper with his units, but I think it might be too late. As the 2-2 leads the charge! Panzer IV eats a hit, but the sweeper's here. The mines are no trouble. Quiritz needs to reposition. T-34 somehow bouncing every shot here. Another Sysgun in tow. Panzer IV goes down. T-34 is still alive. Sysgun finally gets decrewed. T-34 bounces again. What is that bounce? As the Grens take out the other Sysgun. Here comes the new T-34 though. Panzer IV bouncing! What is this Panzer IV? Are you firing blanks? Panzer IV now in trouble. Armor skirts doesn't mean shit when your opponent is penetrating. There we go, some bounces, but Panzer IV is missing. Retreats to the not safety of the S-mines, which will not save this Panzer IV from destruction. Meanwhile, everything is killed. There's some infantry remaining, but center is still not captured. Katusha coming in on the base! Oh no! Everything is going down here. 2-2, still alive, but the T-34 is coming in for the killing blow. And everything is kaput, and Jibber calls in the game, the towel, the everything. GG, well played. A nice attempt there from Jibber, sadly. Too little, too late. But what a series this has been. Katusha here ending up on 50 kills.
The territory is out of contact.
And that's the game. Let's take a look at the stats. I want to see how much damage those Sysguns have been piling up through this game. But yeah, look at this damage, dude. 108,000 damage being dealt here from Quiritz, mostly thanks to the Sysguns. And I mean, so many Sysguns built. 5 Sysguns here. 7 T-34s. But yeah, looking at these stats, we can see the height of Jibber, the height of the Reich, and shortly after the fall, where it just drops down, just like the Facebook stock. But very nice play there, I think, from both players. Not much else to be asked for, to be honest. Just very solid play and a classic Crossroads game here to finish the series. Very nice.